G'day guys, it's James Smith, the Tattoo Butcher here again, and today we are going to be boning and rolling a lamb shoulder. All we're going to need is three simple things. A short bony knife or a short sharp knife will be more than enough. We're going to need our lamb shoulder, of course, the main piece of today, and we're going to need some butcher's string. So if you guys are struggling to find butcher's string, just hit up your local butcher and they'll be able to help you out. But apart from that, let's get stuck in. So the first part that we're going to take out is we're actually going to flip our lamb shoulder over, and we're going to remove these rib bones here and our neck bone here. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we stand it up on its side. You can almost peel it off down there, but we've got a nice sharp knife, so we're going to use that and run it down. Okay, you can notice I'm using a boning grip, otherwise you can just use a normal grip like this one. It's entirely fine. Just using the tip, cutting and pushing, making sure we get nice and hard up against those bones so we're not leaving a lot of meat on it. So once we've cleared the rib bones, we're just going to turn it around and we're just going to run the tip just down the neck, just down there. Okay, so not pressing too hard, just want the tip kind of running down that neck and kind of a loose grip so you can wiggle between all these little niggly bones, and then we're just going to clear the last of that off. Cool, so that's our neck and rib bones removed. Now what we need to do is we have a piece of meat that we just need to peel off here, and this is what we're going to do. It's called seaming it off. We want to make a nice little cut just along here where the fat sits. You can actually see the seam as we start making our cuts. So we're just slowly doing that. And what you can see is I'm seaming down the middle of it. And I'm not actually cutting into anything, so just taking it nice and easy, and we're actually just peeling this back. We don't want to cut this completely off, and we'll tell you why. So going back to what we've did, we've just seamed that piece of meat off. The next step we're going to do is we're going to clear, so we've got two bones still sitting in here. We've got our clod bone and we have our scapula that's in here, so we can't quite see them. I've done this a lot of times, so I know exactly where the bone is, but for you guys who haven't done it as much, we need to see that bone. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to trim. Okay, so we can see the bone ends here. Just going to trim that meat off the top. Okay, now we can really see that bone. So we're just clearing down either side, making it really visible. Now, this connects up to our scapula, so what we need to do is now we need to do the exact same as what we did. We cleared the meat off the top of that bone. Now the scapula actually sits just down in here, so it shapes around there. So all we want to do, we just want to remove this piece of meat just sitting on the top of here. Again, just the tip of our knife scratching up against that bone. Sharp knife is key as well. So we can see we've cleared that meat off now. Now what we want to do is we're just going to run our knife just down the side of it. We're going to do the exact same on the other side. And then basically we can flip it on its side and just finish off and cut the last of that meat off. So we're just coming around the back here. We're just clearing all that meat off the side and the back. So once we've cleared the clod bone, we're only going to go to the top of the scapula, and I'll show you why soon. We're just scraping up against that bone, because what we're going to do, we're actually going to pull this bone out. So hand goes flat, and we're just going to pull that bone out. Okay, so we're pressing with our left hand, or if you're right-handed, and peeling that back. So basically we've cleared all that meat from the inside of the scapula. We've got our blade roll, we've got our cross cut that's sitting there, and we're just going to trim the last of that meat out, completely removing that bone. So going back to what we did, we cleared the top, we cleared the sides, and then basically we come around the back and we scraped the back of that bone and peeled that bone out. So now that's all left, we've actually removed all of our bones now. Now what we need to do is we just need to trim our lamb shoulder up, ready to roll. So all this heavy fat, we're just going to go through. We can still leave some of this fat, obviously there's a lot of flavour in the fat, but I'm just going to trim any heavy stuff. We've got a little gland that just sits inside there, so we just want to remove that bit out. See it sitting in there. And then we've got a little bit of yellow fat just sitting on the end here. This is called elastin, and this is basically what holds the animal's neck up, so that runs through all the way up into the neck, so from the shoulder to the neck. We just want to remove that stuff out because it's really chewy and isn't going to be good eating. So again, just going around taking any heavy fat off. Don't be too afraid to trim a little bit too much. You can use all that stuff for minces, and we can make sausages, and we can make all sorts of good stuff out of that. Cool, so now that we've taken all of our bones out of our lamb shoulder, what I like to do before I actually start tying it is actually season it. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're still getting a nice bit of flavour, and we're making sure that meat isn't too bland in the middle. So really simple seasoning today. I'm just using salt and pepper. You can use anything. You can use herbs, garlic, whatever you kind of like. A stuffing as well is perfectly fine. But yeah, we're just doing a basic seasoning today, so we'll keep it simple. We're not going to touch too much on this. Right, once we've seasoned it, we are good to tie our lamb roast now. So I'm not going to get too much in depth about tying today and technique. I do have a video on my channel that does touch base on tying, so if you're looking at learning how to tie a butcher's knot, scroll down and check that video out before you do this one, because it's going to be very, very helpful. So we've basically taken our bones out. Now we can roll it, and we just want to shape it. So basically the lamb shoulder is quite a nice size. It's quite an even shape, so we don't need to kind of trim things too much. So as it sits, that's a really good size. Now we've got our string under our bench, and we're basically just going to put our knots in now. And that wraps up my video on how to bone and roll a lamb shoulder. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Make sure you like the video, comment if there's something that you'd like to see me do, and also subscribe to my channel. But for now, that's it from me, and I'm going off to cook this lamb shoulder.